The guard's hands closed around my arms like iron shackles. "Get her out of here!" Luna Valentina's voice cut through the murmur of 300 wedding guests. "She has no right to be in this hall." I felt every eye in the cathedral turn toward me, the orphan servant girl being dragged down the aisle like a criminal. My bare feet scraped against the marble floor, and the torn hem of my gray servant's dress caught under my knees. But then, "Stop!" One word. That's all it took. Alpha Sebastio's command froze everyone in place. The guards, the guests, even Luna Valentina, standing at the altar in her pristine white gown, her face twisted with fury. He stepped away from his bride, away from the woman he was supposed to marry in exactly 3 minutes, and he walked toward me. "Release her," he said. The guards let go so fast I nearly collapsed. And when Alpha Sebastio reached me, when he tilted my chin up to meet his golden eyes, he said 4 words that changed everything. "I choose this one." Before I tell you how I ended up being dragged down the aisle of the most powerful Alpha's wedding, I need you to do something for me. If you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever been treated like you were nothing, hit that subscribe button right now. Because this story is for you. And while you're at it, tell me in the comments what city you're watching from so I can send you a hug. Trust me, you're going to need someone in your corner by the end of this. Now let me take you back to where it all began. My name is Esperanza. Ironic, isn't it? My mother named me Hope before she died giving birth to me in the servants' quarters of the Montero pack house. She was a maid. My father was unknown, probably some wolf who passed through and never looked back. I grew up scrubbing floors, washing dishes, and learning one essential truth. In the world of werewolves, you are either somebody or you are nothing. I was nothing. For 22 years, I lived in the shadow of the Montero pack. I watched pups grow into wolves and find their mates. I watched young women in silk gowns attend balls while I cleaned up after them. I watched life happen to everyone around me while I remained frozen in place, a ghost in my own existence. I never shifted. My wolf never awakened. The pack healers said it sometimes happened to wolves of inferior bloodlines, that some of us were simply too weak to transform. Luna Valentina made sure I never forgot it. Esperanza. Her voice would ring through the halls at all hours. "My chambers need cleaning. Now. Esperanza. This soup is cold. Make it again. Esperanza. You call this ironing? Do it over. And this time don't breathe so loudly. It disgusts me." She'd been the Luna for 15 years, ever since she married Alpha Teodoro, Sebastio's father. When Teodoro died 3 years ago, she remained Luna as regent until Sebastio came of age to take the full mantle of leadership. And in 3 days, Sebastio was going to marry Isadora Ferreira, the daughter of the second most powerful pack in the region. Valentina had arranged everything. The alliance, the wedding, the future of the Montero pack. What she hadn't arranged was me. The night before the wedding, I was cleaning the East Wing corridors long after midnight. Everyone else was asleep, the whole pack house buzzing with exhausted energy after days of preparation. I was on my hands and knees, scrubbing a wine stain from the marble floor, when I heard footsteps. Heavy, deliberate, coming closer. I didn't look up. Servants don't look up. We keep our heads down, we do our work, and we pray we remain invisible. But the footsteps stopped right in front of me. "You missed a spot." Froze. I knew that voice. Everyone in the pack knew that voice. Slowly, so slowly, I raised my eyes. Alpha Sebastio Montero stood above me, his dark hair disheveled, his white shirt untucked and half unbuttoned. He looked like he'd been walking the halls for hours, unable to sleep. And he was staring at me like he'd never seen me before. I'm sorry, Alpha," I stammered, dropping my gaze immediately. "I'll fix it right away. Look at me." It wasn't a request. It was a command, and my body responded before my mind could protest. My chin lifted. My eyes met his. Gold. His eyes were pure molten gold, glowing faintly in the dim corridor light. And something in them, something I couldn't name, made my chest tighten. "What's your name?" he asked. "Esperanza, Alpha. I work in the kitchens and—" "Esperanza," he repeated like he was tasting the word. "Hope." He crouched down then, bringing himself to my level. This close, I could smell him. Pine and smoke and something wild, something that made every nerve in my body come alive. "Why are you crying?" he asked. I touched my cheek. I hadn't even realized tears were falling. "I'm not Alpha. Just the cleaning solution. It irritates my eyes." He didn't believe me. I could see it in the slight tilt of his head, the furrow between his brows. "You know," he said quietly, "in all my years in this house I've never seen you. That's by design, Alpha. Servants aren't meant to be seen." "Whose design?" I didn't answer. Couldn't. Because the answer was his mother, the Luna who ruled this house with an iron fist and a cold heart. Sebastio reached out and touched my hand. Just briefly. Just a brush of his fingers against mine. And something inside me, something that had been dormant my entire life, roared awake. It was like lightning striking from the inside out. Heat flooded my veins. My vision sharpened. My heartbeat thundered in my ears like a war drum. And I heard her for the first time in my life. The word echoed in my mind in a voice that wasn't mine. A voice that was ancient and primal and undeniably wolf. "He is our mate." I yanked my hand back so fast I knocked over my bucket of water. "I'm sorry." I scrambled to my feet, nearly slipping on the wet floor. I need to go." "Sorry, Alpha." "I'm so sorry." And I ran. I ran down the corridor, down the stairs, through the servants' passages and into the tiny room I shared with 3 other maids. I threw myself onto my cot and pressed my face into my pillow, trying to muffle the sound of my ragged breathing. My wolf that had never existed, that I'd been told would never exist, was howling inside me. And she was howling for the Alpha who was getting married tomorrow. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? My wolf was pacing inside me like a caged animal, desperate to get back to him, to touch him, to be near him, to claim what was ours. But nothing was ours. Nothing had ever been ours. Sebastio Montero was the Alpha of the most powerful pack in the region. He was engaged to Isadora Ferreira, a woman of noble blood and perfect breeding. Their union would cement an alliance that had been in negotiation for over a decade. And I was a servant. Nobody. A wolfless orphan who'd spent her entire life being told she was worthless. The mate bond was a cruel joke. Cosmic mistake. I had to ignore it. I had to bury it so deep that no one would ever know. By dawn I'd made my decision. I would stay hidden during the wedding. I would avoid Sebastio at all costs. And I would pray to every god I'd ever heard of that the bond would weaken over time. It was a solid plan. It lasted exactly 4 hours. "Esperanza." Luna Valentina's voice cut through the kitchen chaos like a blade. I was elbow-deep in bread dough, helping prepare the feast, when she appeared in the doorway like a vengeful specter. "Yes, Luna." I wiped my hands on my apron and kept my eyes down. "The florist made a mistake with the arrangements in the cathedral. You will go and fix them. Now." My blood ran cold. "The cathedral, Luna. But the wedding is in 6 hours. Which is why you will hurry." Her eyes narrowed. "Unless you're refusing a direct order." "No, Luna. Of course not." "Good. And Esperanza." She stepped closer, her perfume, heavy with jasmine and something chemical, making me want to gag. "Stay invisible. If anyone sees you, if anyone notices you, if you draw any attention to yourself whatsoever, I will make sure you regret it." I nodded, not trusting my voice. But as I left the kitchen and made my way toward the cathedral, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was walking into a trap. The cathedral was magnificent. Sunlight streamed through stained glass windows, casting rainbows across the white marble floor. Thousands of white roses adorned every pew, every pillar, every surface. At the altar, an archway of flowers waited for the bride and groom. And the place was deserted. No florist. No workers. No one. I should have turned around right then. I should have trusted my instincts screaming that something was wrong. But I didn't. I walked down the aisle, searching for the mistake Luna Valentina had mentioned. The arrangements looked perfect to me. Every rose in place, every ribbon tied just so. I was halfway to the altar when I heard the door close behind me. I spun around. Luna Valentina stood at the entrance, flanked by 4 guards. And she was smiling. "Did you really think I wouldn't notice?" she asked, her voice echoing through the empty cathedral. "Notice what, Luna?" "I don't. The way my son looked at you last night." She began walking toward me, her heels clicking against the marble like a countdown. "The way his scent changed when you were near. The way he's been pacing his chambers all morning, refusing to see his bride, muttering about gold eyes and something missing." My heart stopped. "I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me, girl." She was close now, close enough that I could see the cold fury in her eyes. "You're his mate." The moon goddess, in her infinite stupidity, decided to pair my son, the alpha of the Montero pack, with a wolfless servant. "I never asked for this," I whispered. "I don't want. What you want is irrelevant." She grabbed my chin, her nails digging into my skin. "This wedding will happen. This alliance will be secured. And you will disappear." "What do you mean, disappear?" "I've arranged for your transfer to a pack in the south. You'll leave tonight after the ceremony. You'll never see my son again. And if you speak a word of this to anyone, if you try to contact him, if you try to stop this wedding, I will have you killed." She released me and I stumbled backward. "The guards will keep you here until the ceremony begins," she continued, straightening her gown. "Once my son is married, once the bond with Isadora is consummated, your mate bond will weaken. It might not disappear entirely, but it will be manageable." "You can't do this," I breathed. "He has a right to know. He will thank me eventually, when he's leading a powerful alliance instead of wasting away with a servant." She turned and walked toward the door. "Enjoy the wedding, Esperanza. It's the last pack event you'll ever attend." The door closed behind her, and the guards took their positions at every exit. I paced that cathedral for hours. First I tried reasoning with the guards. They ignored me. Then I tried begging. They ignored that too. Finally, I tried escaping through a window, and earned a rough shove back to the center of the room. By the time guests started arriving, I'd given up. I pressed myself into a corner behind a pillar, praying to remain invisible as people flooded in. Noble families in their finest attire. Pack members dressed to impress. Dignitaries from allied packs across the region. 300 guests, all gathered to witness the union of Alpha Sebastio Montero and Isadora Ferreira. And me, hidden in the shadows, my heart breaking with every passing second. The music started. First, the processional. Sebastio's cousins and allied alphas walked down the aisle with their partners. Then the beta, Cristovo, escorting the maid of honor. And then Sebastio himself. He walked alone, as was tradition for an alpha. His black suit was immaculate. His dark hair swept back from his face. He looked every inch the powerful leader he was. But even from my hiding spot, I could see that something was wrong. His jaw was clenched too tight. His shoulders were stiff. His eyes, those golden eyes that had looked at me with such intensity the night before, were scanning the crowd like he was searching for something. For someone. "He knows," my wolf whispered. "He feels us here." I pressed myself deeper into the shadows. The bridal march began. Isadora Ferreira appeared at the end of the aisle, a vision in white silk and lace. She was beautiful, there was no denying it. High cheekbones, dark hair, curves in all the right places. The kind of woman who belonged next to an alpha. Not like me. Never like me. She walked toward Sebastio, smiling radiantly. Me. He didn't look at her. His eyes kept moving, searching, hunting. I saw Luna Valentina step forward and whisper something in his ear. He shook his head sharply. She grabbed his arm, her nails digging in. The guests murmured. Something was wrong. Everyone could feel it. Isadora reached the altar. The priest began to speak. Something about the sacred bond of marriage, the duties of Alpha and Luna. I couldn't hear him over the roaring in my ears. "We have to do something," my wolf demanded. We can't let them take him." But what could I do? I was nobody. I was nothing. If I stepped out of the shadows, if I tried to stop this wedding. "If anyone knows of any reason why these two should not be joined," the priest intoned, "speak now or forever hold your peace." Silence. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. And then, "I, Sebastio Montero, Alpha of the Montero pack, take thee." Wait. The word ripped from my throat before I could stop it. Every head in the cathedral turned toward me. And Luna Valentina's face went white with rage. "Guards!" she shrieked. "Remove her. Now!" They were on me in seconds. 4 guards, grabbing my arms, dragging me out of my hiding spot and into the center of the aisle. "Get her out of here," Luna Valentina commanded, her voice shaking with fury. "She has no right to be in this hall." The guests gasped, whispered. Someone laughed, a cruel, mocking sound. And I felt every ounce of shame I'd ever experienced crash over me like a wave. This was it. This was the moment I'd feared my entire life. Being seen. Being exposed. Being revealed as the nothing I truly was. But then, "Stop." One word. That's all it took. Alpha Sebastio's command froze everyone in place. The guards. The guest. Even Luna Valentina. He stepped away from Isadora. Away from the altar. Away from the future his mother had planned. And he walked toward me. "Release her," he said. The guards let go so fast I nearly collapsed. Sebastio caught me. His arms wrapped around my waist, steadying me, and the moment our bodies touched, the world exploded. Light poured through the stained glass windows, brighter than before, so bright it was almost blinding. A wind swept through the cathedral, carrying the scent of pine and smoke and wild, wild things. And my wolf that had been silent for 22 years, howled. "Mate," Sebastio breathed, his forehead pressed against mine. "I've been looking for you everywhere. Could feel you. Could smell you. But I couldn't find you. Your mother." "I know." His jaw clenched. "I heard everything. She'll answer for that." "Sebastio." Luna Valentina's voice was shrill. "Stop this madness. She's nobody. She's a servant. She doesn't even have a wolf." "Actually," I whispered, feeling power surge through my veins. "I do." And then, in front of 300 witnesses, I shifted for the first time in my life. The pain was exquisite. Every bone in my body snapped and reformed. My skin rippled, for sprouting in waves of pure silver. My spine curved, my limbs shortened, my senses exploded into hyperfocus. And when it was over, when I stood on 4 legs in the center of the cathedral, the silence was deafening. I was a wolf, but not just any wolf. My fur was silver, pure, luminous silver, the color of moonlight itself. My eyes, which I could see reflected in the windows, glowed not gold but white like captured stars. The crowd erupted. "A silver wolf!" someone screamed. "Impossible! The last silver wolf died 300 years ago." But Sebastio was laughing. Pure, joyous laughter that filled the cathedral like music. "Of course," he said, reaching out to run his fingers through my fur. "Of course you're a silver wolf. The moon goddess's most blessed children. The rightful Luna of any pack." I shifted back, easier this time, like my body finally knew what it was supposed to do, and stood before him in my tattered servant's dress, my hair wild around my face. "I don't understand," I said. "How is this possible? I never shifted before." "The healers said." "The healers were wrong," Sebastio growled. "Or they were lied to." He shot a venomous look at his mother. "Someone wanted to keep you hidden, keep you weak, keep you from becoming what you were always meant to be." Luna Valentina's face had gone from white to gray. She backed away slowly, shaking her head. This changes nothing, she hissed. She's still an orphan. Still a servant. Still my mate, Sebastio cut in. Chosen by the moon goddess herself. And now that I know you tried to hide her from me, tried to make her disappear. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. The threat was clear in his golden eyes. Sebastio. Isadora's voice, trembling with barely suppressed rage. You can't seriously be considering this. We have an alliance. Contract. Our packs have been planning this union for 10 years. He turned to her, and for the first time, I saw something like regret in his expression. I'm sorry, Isadora. Truly. You deserve better than being someone's political obligation. He took her hand briefly. The alliance will stand. Our packs will remain friends. But I cannot marry you when the moon goddess has given me my true mate. Isadora's eyes filled with tears. Then her expression hardened, and she ripped her hand away. You'll regret this, she spat. Both of you. She stormed down the aisle, her white gown trailing behind her like a surrender flag. Her family followed, their faces masks of fury. And then there were only the Montero pack members left. 300 wolves, all staring at me like I was either a miracle or a monster. Sebastio turned to face them. Today was supposed to be my wedding, he announced, his voice carrying to every corner of the cathedral. And it still will be. But not to Isadora Ferreira. He pulled me forward, his arm around my waist. This is Esperanza, a silver wolf, my fated mate. And your new Luna. The silence stretched. And then, one by one, the wolves began to kneel. First Cristovo, the beta, dropping to one knee with his fist over his heart. Then the gamma. Then the elders. Then the rest of the pack, a wave of submission flowing through the cathedral. Only Luna Valentina remained standing, her face twisted with hatred. You've destroyed everything, she snarled. Everything I built. Everything I planned. For her. For the truth, Sebastio replied coldly. For my mate. And for the pack you've manipulated for far too long. I am your mother. You're a liar. A manipulator. And from this moment forward, you are no longer Luna of this pack. He raised his voice so everyone could hear. Valentina Montero is hereby stripped of her title and rank. She will be confined to the West Wing until I decide what further punishment is warranted. Guards moved forward, different guards loyal to Sebastio, and took her arms. This isn't over, she spat as they dragged her away. Do you hear me? This isn't over. The doors slammed behind her. And finally I could breathe. The wedding happened that very night. Not the grand affair that had been planned, with 300 guests and political machinations. Something smaller, something real. Just Sebastio and me, standing under the stars in the pack's sacred grove, with only the closest pack members as witnesses. Cristovo performed the ceremony, his deep voice carrying through the ancient trees. Do you, Sebastio Montero, alpha of the Montero pack, take this wolf as your mate and Luna? Do you vow to protect her, cherish her, and lead beside her until the moon goddess calls you home? I do, Sebastio said, his eyes never leaving mine. With everything I am and everything I have. And do you, Esperanza, take this wolf as your mate and alpha? Do you vow to support him, strengthen him, and lead beside him until the moon goddess calls you home? My voice came out steady, strong. Nothing like the trembling servant I'd been this morning. I do. Then by the power vested in me by the pack and the moon goddess herself, I declare you mated. You may complete the bond. Sebastio pulled me close. His lips found mine, warm and demanding and perfect. And as we kissed, his teeth grazed my neck right over my pulse point. May I? He murmured against my skin. Yes. The bite was sharp and sweet all at once. Pain and pleasure tangled together as his mark seared into my flesh, claiming me, binding us together for eternity. And I bit him back. The moment my teeth broke his skin, Something clicked into place inside me, like a key turning in a lock, like the final piece of a puzzle sliding home. The mate bond complete. Through it I could feel everything. His love fierce and absolute. His relief at finally finding me. His determination to protect me from anyone and anything that would try to tear us apart. And underneath it all, his wolf reaching out to mine, their essences intertwining until I couldn't tell where he ended and I began. "My Luna," he whispered, pulling back to look at me. "My beautiful, impossible, miraculous Luna. Your mother is going to be a problem," I said, because someone had to be practical. He laughed. "She's been a problem my whole life. But she's never had to face the two of us together." He was right. Together we were unstoppable. The first challenge came 3 days after the wedding. I was in the Luna's chambers. My chambers now, though I still wasn't used to the silk sheets and the army of servants suddenly eager to do my bidding, when Cristovo burst through the door. "Luna, we have a situation." I was on my feet immediately. "What is it?" "The Ferreira pack. They've crossed into our territory. Armed." My blood ran cold. "How many?" 50 wolves. "And they're not alone." He hesitated. "Alpha Rodrigo Ferreira is leading them himself. He's demanding you." "Me?" "He claims you used dark magic to seduce the Alpha. That the wedding was invalid. That you should be handed over for examination by their pack elders." Cristovo's jaw clenched. It's a declaration of war dressed up as diplomacy. I thought of Isadora. Her face twisted with rage as she stormed out of the cathedral. "You'll regret this. Both of you." She'd gone home and convinced her father to come take revenge. "Where's Sebastio?" "Yes. Already at the border with our warriors. He sent me to keep you safe." "Keep me safe." I felt my wolf rise inside me, her silver fur bristling. "I'm the Luna of this pack. If our people are facing a threat, I should be there. Luna with respect." "Cristovo." I met his eyes, letting him see the wolf inside me. "I spent 22 years being protected into insignificance. That ends now. Take me to the border." He hesitated for only a moment. Then he nodded. The border clearing was chaos. Sebastio stood at the front of our warriors, his stance aggressive, his golden eyes blazing. Across from him, Alpha Rodrigo Ferreira, a massive wolf with graying hair and cold blue eyes, commanded his own force. And between them, in the no-man's land, Isadora stood in a white dress, her hands raised like a peace offering. "All I'm asking," she was saying as I approached, "is for an impartial evaluation. If your new Luna is truly a silver wolf, the elders will confirm it. If she used dark magic to manipulate your Alpha, we'll know. What do you have to fear from the truth?" "I have nothing to fear," Sebastio growled. "But I also have no intention of handing my mate over to people who've made their hostility clear." "Then you leave us no choice." Alpha Rodrigo stepped forward. "By the old laws, I challenge your claim. If you cannot prove that this woman is a true silver wolf, if you cannot prove the mate bond is genuine, then she is a fraud and your pack's honor is forfeit." "And how exactly do you expect me to prove?" "I'll do it." My voice rang across the clearing. Everyone turned. Sebastio with alarm, Rodrigo with surprise, Isadora with hatred. I walked forward until I stood beside my mate. "You want proof?" said. "Fine. I'll give you proof." And before anyone could stop me, I shifted. Silver fur. White eyes. The purest manifestation of the moon goddess's blessing. The Ferreira wolves stumbled backward, some dropping to their knees instinctively. Even Rodrigo's confident facade cracked, his eyes widening. "Impossible," he breathed. "Silver wolves are extinct." I shifted back, standing naked in the clearing, because apparently shifting destroyed clothes, something nobody had warned me about. Sebastio immediately wrapped his coat around me, his arm protective on my waist. "Not extinct," I said. "Hidden. Suppressed. But still here." Rodrigo's face cycled through a dozen emotions, Shock, fear, calculation, and finally reluctant respect. "The old laws are clear," Cristovo announced, stepping forward. "A challenge to a Luna's legitimacy can only be maintained if there's reasonable doubt. There is none. The Ferreira pack must withdraw." For a long moment nobody moved. Then Rodrigo stepped back. "This isn't over," Isadora hissed as she was pulled away by her father's guards. But for now it was. We'd won. The victory was short-lived. 3 weeks after the confrontation at the border, I received a visitor I never expected. Luna Esperanza. I looked up from the mountain of paperwork on my desk. Apparently, being Luna involved a lot of administrative work, to find an elderly woman standing in my doorway. She was ancient. Her face was a map of wrinkles, her hair pure white, her body bent with age. But her eyes were sharp as blades. "My name is Benedetta," she said. "I was your mother's midwife." My world tilted. My mother's. "May I sit?" Without waiting for permission, she lowered herself into a chair. "I've waited 22 years to have this conversation. I hope you'll indulge an old woman." I couldn't speak. I just nodded. "Your mother's name was Margarita," Benedetta began. "And she was no servant. She was a silver wolf. The last of her line. Hidden here in the Montero pack by your grandfather, who knew that if her existence became known, she would be hunted." Hunted? Why would anyone hunt a silver wolf? Because silver wolves are not just blessed by the moon goddess. They are her chosen vessels. Her voice in the mortal realm. Benedetta's ancient eyes gleamed. "And there are those who would do anything to control that power. Or destroy it." I thought of Luna Valentina, who had known what I was, who had kept me suppressed and hidden my entire life. "She knew," I breathed. "Valentina knew what I was." "Of course she knew. She killed your mother to keep the secret." The world stopped. "What?" "Margarita didn't die in childbirth, child. She was strong, healthy. She should have survived." Benedetta's voice was bitter with old grief. "But Valentina was there that night in the birthing room. And when your mother saw what she was doing, it was too late. The poison was already in her blood." "But why?" I demanded. "If she wanted to control a silver wolf's power, why kill my mother?" "Because Margarita couldn't be controlled. She was already mated, secretly, to a wolf who died before you were born. But you..." Benedetta reached out and touched my hand. "You were a blank slate. A silver wolf with no knowledge of her heritage, no training in her powers, no protection. Valentina planned to raise you herself, to mold you into a weapon. Then why make me a servant? Why suppress my wolf? Because something went wrong. When you were young, your wolf showed signs of awakening too early. Valentina couldn't risk it. So she fed you a tea, a special blend, every day for 20 years. Kept your wolf dormant. Kept you powerless." I thought of the bitter tea I'd been forced to drink every morning. The tea I'd stopped drinking after the wedding, when I was no longer in Valentina's control. "The 3 weeks," I said slowly. "My wolf awakened 3 weeks after I stopped drinking that tea." Benedetta nodded. "Your body purged the poison. And your true self finally emerged." I sat back in my chair, my mind reeling. My entire life had been a lie. My mother had been murdered. And the woman who'd done it was currently living in the west wing of my house, plotting God's no. "Why are you telling me this now?" asked. Benedetta smiled, a sad ancient smile. "Because Valentina is not alone. There are others who know what you are, child. Others who will come for you, just as they came for your mother. And if you're going to survive, you need to know the truth." "What others? What are you talking about?" But Benedetta was already rising, her ancient bones creaking. "Ask your mate about the Council of Shadows," she said. "Ask him what really happened to the silver wolves 300 years ago." And then she was gone. I found Sebastio in his study, poring over reports from our border patrols. "We need to talk," I said. He looked up, immediately sensing my distress through our bond. "What happened? Tell me about the Council of Shadows. His face went pale. Where did you hear that name? Does it matter? Tell me. For a long moment he was silent. Then he rose, crossed to the door and locked it. The Council of Shadows, he said quietly, is one of the oldest and most secretive organizations in the werewolf world. They've existed for over 1,000 years, pulling strings from behind the scenes. They believe that werewolves should rule over humans, not live alongside them. And they believe that certain bloodlines are too dangerous to exist. Bloodlines like silver wolves. Yes. He ran a hand through his hair. 300 years ago, there were dozens of silver wolves. They were the peacekeepers of our world, the voice of the moon goddess, as you said. They prevented wars, negotiated treaties, kept the balance between packs. What happened to them? The council happened. His voice was bitter. They saw the silver wolves as a threat to their power, so they launched a coordinated attack. In a single night, they killed every silver wolf they could find. Men, women, children. They called it the purification. Felt sick. And no one stopped them. No one knew it was happening until it was over. The council operates in secret. Always has. By the time the other packs realized what had been done, the silver wolves were gone. But my mother survived. Your mother was hidden. Protected. She must have been an infant during the purification, smuggled away before the council could find her. Sebastio took my hands. Esperanza, if the council learns that you exist, they'll come for me. They'll come for both of us. Anyone who harbors a silver wolf is considered a traitor to their cause. I thought about everything I'd learned. My mother murdered. My heritage hidden. An ancient organization that wanted me dead. And suddenly Valentina's actions made a terrible kind of sense. Your mother, I said slowly. She's part of the council. Sebastio's jaw clenched. I've suspected for years. The way she operates, the connections she has, the power she wields even without a title. It all points to council involvement. Then we have a spy in our house. We have worse than a spy. We have a direct line to the people who want you dead. He pulled me close, his arms wrapping around me like he could shield me from the world. I won't let them touch you. I swear it. I know. I leaned into him, drawing strength from our bond. But I'm done hiding. I'm done being afraid. If the council wants a war, then we'll give them one. Esperanza. I'm a silver wolf, Sebastio. The voice of the moon goddess. It's time I started acting like it. We went to Valentina that same night. She was in her chambers in the West Wing, surrounded by guards who were supposed to be keeping her contained. But when we arrived, I noticed something that made my blood boil. The guards were hers. Sebastio, she said smoothly, rising from her chair like a queen greeting subjects. And my new daughter-in-law. To what do I owe the pleasure? Drop the act, mother. Sebastio's voice was ice. We know about the council. For a split second, just a heartbeat, something flickered in her eyes. Then her mask was back in place. I don't know what you're talking about. You killed Margarita, I said, stepping forward. You poisoned her. You murdered my mother to get to me. Your mother was a servant who died in childbirth. These delusions. Enough. My wolf surged forward, and I let her. Silver light exploded from my body, filling the room with moonfire. The guards stumbled back, shielding their eyes. Even Valentina flinched. I am a silver wolf, I said, my voice layered with power, my voice and my wolf's voice speaking as one. The moon goddess speaks through me. And she has shown me the truth. It was a bluff. The moon goddess hadn't shown me anything. But Valentina didn't know that. Her composure cracked. You have no idea what you're dealing with, she hissed. The council has existed for 1,000 years. They've survived empires, wars, cataclysms. You think one little silver wolf can stand against them. So you admit it, Sebastio said. You're one of them. I'm more than one of them. Her chin lifted with pride. I'm a council elder. I've been guiding the werewolf world since before you were born. Guiding? I laughed bitterly. Is that what you call murder? Suppression? Keeping an entire bloodline hidden and powerless? I call it survival. Her voice rose. Do you know what would happen if the humans learned about us? If they discovered that werewolves walk among them? There would be war. Extermination. The silver wolves wanted peace, wanted integration. And look where it got them. All of them dead except for one stubborn bloodline that refused to die out. So you decided to control what you couldn't destroy, I said. I decided to protect my pack. She gestured wildly around her. Everything I've done, every scheme, every manipulation, every death, has been to ensure the Montero pack's survival. The council would have destroyed us decades ago if I hadn't proven my loyalty. If I hadn't promised them the last silver wolf on a platter. The truth hit me like a physical blow. You were going to hand me over to them. After the wedding. After Sebastio was safely mated to Isadora and the alliance was secure. You would have been taken quietly. And no one would have been the wiser. And you call that protecting the pack? Sebastio's voice shook with rage. Sacrificing my mate, my Luna, to a group of murderers? Your mate. Valentina laughed, a harsh, ugly sound. She's not your mate, Sebastio. It is a tool. A weapon. A vessel for power that the council wants to control. The mate bond is just biology. It can be broken, suppressed, ignored. What matters is politics. Alliance. Power. You're wrong, I said quietly. Something in my voice made her stop. The mate bond isn't just biology, I continued. It's the moon goddess's will. Her blessing. And you've spent your entire life trying to subvert it. Trying to control what was never meant to be controlled. I stepped closer to her and she backed away. But here's what you didn't count on, Valentina. Here's what the council never understood about silver wolves. The silver light around me intensified. We don't just speak for the moon goddess. We channel her. We are her presence in this world. And she is very, very tired of the council's games. What happened next, I can't fully explain. One moment, I was standing in Valentina's chambers, silver light pouring from my body. The next, I was somewhere else. A vast white plain, stretching endlessly in all directions. Above me, an enormous moon, larger than any moon I'd ever seen, bathed everything in silver light. And before me stood a woman. She was beautiful beyond description. Her hair was moonlight given form. Her eyes were stars. Her gown was woven from shadows and silver and something that looked like liquid night. Esperanza, she said, and her voice was the sound of waves breaking on an eternal shore. My child, my daughter, my last hope. Moon goddess, I whispered, falling to my knees. Rise. She reached down and lifted my chin, just as Sebastio had done that first night in the corridor. You are not meant to kneel before me. You are meant to stand beside me. I don't understand. How am I here? What's happening? You called to me. She smiled, and it was like watching a galaxy being born. When you channeled my power against the council's servant, you opened a door. And I have been waiting a very long time to walk through it. Waiting. For what? For you. She gestured, and suddenly the white plain was filled with images. Silver wolves running through forests, standing before thrones, negotiating treaties. My children were destroyed 300 years ago. The council believed they had won. But they forgot one crucial truth. What truth? The moon goddess is patient. Her eyes blazed with ancient fury. I have watched, have waited. I have guided your bloodline through the shadows, keeping you hidden, keeping you safe, until the time was right. Right for what? For vengeance. Her voice echoed across the endless plain. The council must be destroyed, Esperanza. Not because I desire power, but because they have upset the balance. They have turned werewolf against werewolf, sown discord and fear, murdered innocents in the name of control. This cannot continue. You want me to destroy them. I want you to give them a choice. She took my hands in hers and I felt power, ancient, infinite power, flowing into me. The council can surrender, disband, allow the werewolf world to govern itself as it was always meant to. Or they will face the full wrath of a silver wolf backed by the moon goddess herself. Thought about it. I thought about my mother, murdered in her bed. About the other silver wolves, slaughtered 300 years ago. About 22 years of servitude and suppression. And I thought about Sebastio. About our pack. About the future we were trying to build. I'll do it, I said. But I have conditions. The moon goddess actually looked surprised. Conditions. My pack remains protected. Sebastio remains unharmed. And when this is over, when the council is gone, the silver wolves are never again targeted. Never again hunted. We live as equals among the other wolves. Nothing more, nothing less. For a long moment the moon goddess studied me. Then she laughed. Oh, I chose well with you. She pressed a kiss to my forehead. You have my word, daughter. Your conditions are accepted. Now go. Your mate is worried. And the white plane dissolved around me. I came back to my body gasping. I was on the floor of Valentina's chambers, Sebastio's arms around me. His face pale with terror. Esperanza. Can you hear me? Are you? I'm fine. I struggled to sit up. I'm better than fine. You collapsed. Your eyes went white. You weren't breathing. I was with her. I touched his face, marveling at how vivid everything felt. Colors brighter, sounds sharper, smells more distinct. The moon goddess. She spoke to me. The moon goddess spoke to you, Valentina repeated flatly. She was pressed against the far wall, her guards having abandoned her at some point during my episode. You expect us to believe that? I don't care what you believe. I rose to my feet, and with me came the power, silver light crackling around me like lightning. But you should probably start running. Running. Why would I? Because the council is about to learn that their last chance at controlling the silver wolves just ended. And when they realize they can't control me, they'll do what they always do. They'll try to kill you, Valentina breathed. They'll try. I smiled, and it was not a nice smile. They'll fail. The council came 3 days later. They didn't bother with subtlety. Why would they? They were the most powerful organization in the werewolf world. They had survived for 1,000 years by crushing any threat before it could grow. 100 wolves. 20 council members. And at their head, the Grand Elder himself, a wolf named Bonifacio who had lived for over 500 years. They surrounded our territory at dawn. Send out the silver wolf. Bonifacio's voice boomed across the forest. Send her out, and your pack will be spared. Resist, and every wolf in the Montero pack will die. I stood at the edge of our territory, Sebastio at my side, our warriors at our backs. You want me? Called back. Come and get me. The battle that followed was unlike anything the werewolf world had seen in 300 years. I fought with the power of the moon goddess flowing through me. Silver fire poured from my claws. My howls shattered the minds of enemy wolves. Every attack they launched I deflected. Every wolf that came near me I destroyed. But I wasn't the only one fighting. Sebastio moved like death itself, his golden eyes blazing, his wolf form massive and terrible. He guarded my back while I guarded his. We fought as two halves of the same soul, perfectly synchronized. And our pack fought with us. Cristovo led the right flank, his warriors cutting through the council's forces like a blade through water. The Gamma, a fierce woman named Quiteria, held the left. And in the center, Sebastio and I pressed forward, driving toward Bonifacio himself. The Grand Elder was waiting for us. Little silver wolf, he sneered as we approached. You think you can stand against 1,000 years of tradition? Against the natural order? The natural order? I laughed. You murdered children. You slaughtered innocents. You've spent a millennium trying to control what was never yours to control. We saved our kind. The silver wolves would have exposed us all. The silver wolves would have brought peace. I stepped forward, silver light blazing around me. They would have united the packs, bridged the gap between wolves and humans, created a world where we didn't have to hide. A fantasy. A future. I raised my hand. And it's one you won't live to see. The power of the moon goddess surged through me. Pure, blinding, absolute. And Bonifacio, grand elder of the Council of Shadows, crumbled to ash. The council didn't survive the battle. Oh, some of its members escaped. Scattered to the winds, leaderless and afraid. But the organization itself, the structure, the power, the 1,000 years of control was shattered. And in its place, something new began to grow. In the weeks following the battle, Alpha after Alpha sent word to the Montero pack. Not challenges, not threats, requests for guidance, for mediation, for the Silver Wolf's blessing. They want you to lead them, Sebastio said one evening, reading through the latest stack of messages. All of them. Every pack in the region. I don't want to lead them. I curled up beside him on the couch in our chambers. Our chambers, still a strange concept. I just want to live in peace. With you. With our pack. You might not have a choice. He pulled me closer. The moon goddess chose you for a reason. And that reason wasn't just to destroy the council. He was right. I knew he was right. But I also knew that whatever came next, I wouldn't face it alone. Valentina, I said suddenly. What happened to her? Sebastio's expression darkened. She fled during the battle. My scouts tracked her to the southern territories, but she disappeared after that. She'll be back. Probably. She's a survivor. Always has been. When she comes back, we'll deal with her. He kissed my forehead. Together. The way we deal with everything now. I smiled and closed my eyes, listening to the steady beat of his heart through our bond. I had started this journey as a servant. Nobody. A girl without a wolf, without a family, without a future. Now I was a Luna. A silver wolf. The voice of the moon goddess and the mate of an alpha. And this was only the beginning. The naming ceremony was held under the full moon. Every alpha in the region attended. 37 packs, all gathered in the sacred grove where Sebastio and I had married a year ago. But they weren't here for a wedding. They were here to meet the heir. I held her in my arms, our daughter born 3 weeks ago, with her father's golden eyes and my silver hair. She was perfect, tiny and fierce and absolutely perfect. What name have you chosen? The ceremony master asked. Sebastio and I looked at each other. Margarita, I said. For my mother. And Luz, Sebastio added. For the light she brings. Margarita Luz Montero. The ceremony master raised his hands to the moon. May the moon goddess bless and protect this child, daughter of the Alpha and the Silver Luna. A howl rose from the crowd. Dozens of wolves raising their voices in celebration. And in my arms, little Margarita opened her mouth and howled too. Perfect tiny howl. That glowed faintly silver. After the ceremony, as the celebration continued around us, I slipped away to the edge of the grove. The full moon was high and bright, and I could feel her presence, the moon goddess watching over us. Thank you, I whispered. For everything. For my mother's memory. For my mate. For my daughter. You have earned it, a voice replied in my mind, warm and vast and infinitely loving. Every blessing, every joy, every moment of peace. You have earned it all, my daughter. What comes next? That is for you to decide. The future is unwritten. The council is destroyed. The packs are united. What happens now is in your hands. I'm scared, I admitted. Scared I'll fail. Scared I'll let everyone down. Fear is natural. But you are not alone. You have your mate, your pack, your daughter, and you have me. The presence seemed to smile. You will never be alone again, Esperanza. Never. I felt tears on my cheeks, but they were good tears. Happy tears. Esperanza. Sebastio's voice came from behind me. Everything okay? I turned to find him walking toward me, our daughter cradled in his arms. He was smiling, that soft, private smile he only showed to me. Everything's perfect, I said. And for the first time in my life it was true. If you made it to the end of this story, you're officially part of the pack. And I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. Because this is just the beginning of Esperanca's story. And trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. Luna Valentina is still out there. The scattered council members are regrouping. And little Margarita's silver glow suggests she's inherited more than just her mother's hair color. The real battle hasn't even started yet. So subscribe. Leave a comment telling me what city you're watching from so I can send you that hug I promised. And share this story with someone who's ever felt invisible, overlooked, or underestimated. Because this story is for all of us who were told we were nothing. And proved everyone wrong. See you in the next one, pack.